Okay, everyone. Hello, my name is Erados12, and today, yes, you guessed it, another stream. But hear me out. Last time I was working on this weapon, we didn't get to actually do the full stream because I had many issues, not just with my voice, but also with the weapon itself. It's kind of indecisive, which I shouldn't have been. And for that, I take full responsibility and I apologize for it. However, we are going to get into this today, but not the rigging portion. We're going to be doing some scripting. So, let's just see how this weapon looks now that it's rigged. As sorry about that. Anyways, as you can see, there is a shell storage right here. Hold on. My mic cancel have noise cancellation. I guess it does. Anyways, as you can see right here, there is a model for shell storage. And what shell storage does is that it allows you to store extra shells. Now, keep in mind, this is really huge, like, plus for players who want to have extra shells. Because that means in breach infantry, you get more shells if you choose guns like this. More shells than usual. You get like an extra, let's see, you got one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 shells. So you get extra 7. Now you also have an internal magazine, which I'm going to gladly rename to Mag Point. Because this is actually not just an internal magazine, this actually acts like a mag point. You can store rounds in the gun to be used. Now, there's also more bolt parts, but there's new ones too. The bolt firing pin, which is right here, hold on, let me just show you, will actually move. Now, I may not be able to move it today because I still have to get another thing for it, but it will work at least. Um, bolt head, which is right there, that also moves. And there's the bolt, which is this huge thing right here. And you also have the bolt parts. Bolt parts, basically in this system, are attached to the bolt, and they move with the bolt. Specifically, the bolt you specify using, voila, this string value. And basically, the string value, which is named bolt roll, has a value of the bolt that you want to move, such as main. And each one is different. You'll see what I mean once we start scripting, if you're new here. But if you're not, and you've seen this before, you get the idea. Bolt release doesn't really move yet. It might in the future, but for right now, we're just focused on getting this done within 2 hours. But you can press this on the right if you want to actually, like, you know, release the bolt. And this will be doable via the right. Now, the front post has changed as well. We did that last time, I think. And yeah, it's more accurate. And then we also have to deal with the gate. There's a gate hinge and a gate effector, which allows us to actually use the gate, the loading gate for, well, let me delete this. There we go. Much better. So we actually get to delete, I mean, not delete, we actually get to load shells in, and this moves when you do that, or should move. And you have the main barrel, which is right here, the main sight, which is right there. Yeah, it's this little hood ring sight that you can use to like shoot things or see what your target is. And then you get the pistol grip, which is right there. We know what a pistol grip is, so I'm not going to get into that. Then we have the receiver, which is right here. This thing is just a receiver. We'll probably get into that another time. Release lever actually drops a cartridge, I think. Something like that. Anyways, you get the point. Now I am going to do some editing with the trigger guard because it is plastic and I want it to be smooth plastic so that it looks better. And yeah, there you go. Pretty good, I'd say. And then you also have the top rail, the stock slide, which is the stock is all back here and it's also adjustable, not just, you know, going back and forth, but you can also turn it too. You can turn it left or right. Now, with that being said, that means we will have to do some serious editing regarding this system so that you can actually take that and use it the proper way. Now, we did all of this. So now what we have to do is we have to edit it. Now, before we could do that, I will have to get some kind of animation in order for this to actually be a working thing. Because if I'm not mistaken, we don't load... Yeah. We don't load the weapon, you know, from the right hand. We use that for the bolt release if it's possible. But actually, you don't use the right hand very much because the weapon could drop and then you have a problem. So, yeah. Anyways, I'll be right back when I do that. Alright, so I'm back. And I did have to check the animation that I was using just to make sure it was the right one. And apparently it was. This is what we're using right here as a baseline. As you can see, it is a Turbo Fusion animation, but our system is a bit different. Not just because it uses a meta table, but also because of the fact that there's a lot more you can do, and you probably might not need any of these lines. This is just as a baseline, just to see how you actually reload the weapon. So to actually get that right, let's do the arm thing on the left. So to do that, I'm going to have to open up the M4 Super 90. And this is how we're going to actually script this. We're going to do part of the animation first, and for every frame, we just make it so where the weapon works in other scripts, or whatever part that's needed. Now to do this, I'm going to have to go up. Actually, down. So if we look down here, this is where it's at, right? The R weld, or whatever that thing was. And we also have a turn right here that I can see. So, that being said, I think I have an idea. I'm actually going to have to do this a little differently. So, yeah, we could do that. I think I'm going to paste this one in. And what I would do to make the changes apparent is I would change that, of course. And basically what that will do is it will make it use the meta table, which is important because that's the only way it will work. And then I'm going to change this from outside to, let's just say, sharp. I think I like sharp better because it's a Bezier curve. So, let's see here. We've got this arm movement. As you can see. And I'm going to move that in. So I'm going to do right here, take this line, or these parameters, and change them to this. Yeah, it may seem like copying and pasting. I get it. But this is actually more beneficial because it's been a while since I've actually used the left arm for any right-handed stuff. Yeah, it's been almost 2.5 years. It's weird, but you get the point. Alright, and basically we'll change the angle. Now, to do so, I would actually have to grab one of these, and I think to fix this, because there is an issue. Yes, an issue. The problem here is that we don't have the shell in the right place. So let's see, we'll go up and find the function, or method actually, that deals with this. So it's this one right here. We're going to copy it, paste it in, and then take this one and call it shell, because we're dealing with a shotgun shell. Shell insertion frame, and then once we do that, okay, the whole part, yeah, that's the offset right there. And then we'll do new mag cf times cframe dot raw, or cframe dot new rather. It's just in a table because of the fact that it's can get a, like back in the day, there were problems with the 200 variable limit. It wasn't like luau didn't exist yet. So what they did was they added luau to, like what they did with luau, they made it so where you can have 1,000 variables in one script, like local variables, and then you could do a lot more with functions, of course. So now we're going to take advantage of that, well, partially. So we have new mag CF, And what we have to do with it is basically we have to take the raw, like the C-frame, and like add a certain amount, which is going to be half the arm size to it, so that you can see the shell. So this is how I would do it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, grip arm. So I'm going to take the grip arm and I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to take that and make that like this. Basically, this will make sure that this can be used in here, because you have to get the size, of course. So let's see, grip arm. Hold on, let me just find out where it's at. Arm dot C-frame. No wait, not C-frame, size. My bad. So size dot, I think it's X. Is it X or Z? I forget. I think I'm going to do X divided by 2. And then we're going to do the y-axis. Yep, we're going to do the y-axis. Grip arm. C-frame. Actually, we're going to do size for that one. And dot y, of course, divided by 2, and then 0. So now what this will do is this will offset it to the point where you can actually see it. That's key when you're actually dealing with a shotgun. Oh, and grip arm. Hold on, let me just make sure this loads. Okay, and then we're going to do size.c divided by 2. Now, if there's anything we need to do regarding the sign, or change the sign that needs to be put into this for this to work, we will do that once we test it. So now all we have to do is we have to take this, go back to the animation we have, put that there, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, hold on, we take this. Oh yeah, I forgot. We also got to make another function here, or frame. I call these frames because they are like, they're animation pieces, like they're pieces of an animation. But they're treated like that because, like, basically they run the code needed to make this work. So now we got that. All we have to do is take this, and then we'll do s.fastWait instead of wait, because wait is not a good practice to use. This code is quite old though, so it will be updated to certain standards so that it can work with the engine a lot better than what it is doing now, or what it would do now if you had to use this animation as is. So now we take that and we put that in, and then basically we will take all of this code right here, copy that if we can. So now I'm going to take that and probably put that above this, and then after that I'm going to put these parameters in. So that means we'll do that, of course, because it's the left arm. I'm going to make this 23, 0, and then -80 for a good reason. And then you have this code right here, which is supposed to be 50, -90, 20. And then you have this, which is just what it is. That's it. And then we're going to just turn this into a sharp Bezier curve easing function. and that's it. So now I'm going to change this to 1, and basically what that does is that it will put the first round in, and then once that's done, it's done. So now all I have to do is put this on the s.l arm, and done. Mostly. Let's make this new mag C0, and there we go. Okay, put that in. Okay, and then once we do that, we'll just attach 1, and then W to destroy, of course. And fast wait for that as well. Okay, now we're talking. But there is a problem. Well, what about this? That will be fixed right now. Well, it looks fixed, but it's not. So to fix this part, we're just going to make this the L arm. And we're going to use the new mag C0 that we've had. And then, after that, fast wait. Same thing down here. And that's it. For, oh, actually, just one more. And then that's usually it. So now we have to get rid of these lines and actually change them to what they should be, right? Because I don't think you pull the bolt. I think it's already chambered once you put it in. So this is what I'm thinking. We actually have to use this right here. I think it's going to have to be right here. So yeah, I'm putting the bolt there for a reason. Because you're supposed to open it. So now, all we have to do is just make these 0.1 and make that 0.2. Actually, you can do that. Make this one 0.2. No, wait, not that. This. Okay. Now, the next thing we'll have to do is we will have to take this and actually, oops, my bad. Didn't think that would come up. Okay. And then we'll just take this and do this. Make that 0. Done. And then, after that, actually, wait a minute. I think I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, I'm putting it in the wrong place. It's right here that we put it in. So, there you have it. You have those two parts done. And now, all we have to do is just get rid of this. Because we don't need it. That solves that problem. Now I'm also going to have to put this into the equip, which should be a lot easier to deal with since you're just equipping the weapon. But there are things that we have to get right. So let's just take all this code out, of course, and put the new one in. There you have it. And we don't need to deal with this because this is different, of course. Now we will be expanding this in this stream as we go so that parts will work. So let's close this out and let's go straight to the assembler. So in this case, the assembler is right here. And as you can see, the mag point model is, well, bare bones. So this is what I'm thinking. Instead of doing all of this first, we'll take this, copy it, put an else if right there, and then do if v is a base part and v.name equals, trying to think which one. We'll start with the reloading. Or actually, this is the mag point, so we have to deal with it a little differently. We'll start with the, let's just say, mag spring. So to deal with the mag spring, I'm going to have to go to the magazine object itself, or class. And then we're going to have to find the parts. So in that case, I think it's down here. So, yeah. I think we're going to just deal with the spring. So we're going to have to put that right in there, just like that. Yeah. And basically what this will do is that it will, yeah, you get the point. It's basically for the mag spray. Now, I think there is a ramp here. But, this will be spring leg. Hold on, let me just find the P90. The magazine for the P90. Because that's a great example of something in which uses the same structure. So the P90 is a box magazine with a special spring. And as you can see here, there's spring base, spring leg, and spring piston. And also folders for that. So that means I'm going to mag point, and I'm going to put this in as well. So, yeah. So next thing we'll have to do is we'll have to take this and rename it to spring piston. Alright. And then this will be renamed to spring leg A. Just like that. Alright. And let's see, what else? Next thing we'll have to do is we will have to find out if we can, yep, right here. Just that. Alright. And then, let's see. Hold on. And then after that, we'll put V in here, of course, because that's what we use to iterate through the whole thing. And I think it should be model, that spring base, because of what's up here, of course. Same thing, model, model, and yeah, model. Actually make that v dot size, and then just do v dot anchored. Same thing here, and then that, and that. And basically what we just did is that we actually made sure that this works with a spring, meaning the spring will operate because of this once the weapon is assembled and ready to go. So now all we have to do is, well, since we did this, And that's the only thing we had to do for right now. All we have to do is just, yeah. I mean, it's simple. Just add the spring code and just make it work. But all we have to do actually is just set the primary part, which is going to be this. And let's see if it worked. Yep, it worked. Now what we have to do next is, well, we just have to make sure that we probably have to, well, this is what we have to do. I just remembered now. We have to make sure the spring moves when you add the rounds in. So to do that, I'm going to go here, and I am going to tween the mag spring, of course. So that means I'm going up in this code base, and we're going to do tween mag spring. And what this will do is that it will allow me to allow this to work a little bit differently, where if you put a round or shell into the gun, it will make sure that the spring, of course, goes backward as you put each round in, and it keeps doing that until it's filled. So let's see, function anim API position, and I think there isn't a rotation here. Hold on, let me find the mag spring. Spring leg. Yep, right there. So as you can see, this is the joint and the rows. So rows would be something like, well, let me just explain. Rows is where you have a certain number of rows that actually are used or occupied in the spring, while the others don't be occupied, or they stay like unoccupied. So now what I have to figure out is, okay, about this. Well, the size is actually a size table. Well, I'll show you. Hold on. Let me just find a way up. Alright. Upward. Like that. And then, as you can see here, this is the same thing. So now, all we have to do is go upwards, or actually downwards. Hold on. Tween, mag, spring, which is right here. And I think, yeah, it should be right there. Rows, size, T, max, and duration. So I'll just do mag spring, and we'll find it right here. So the mag spring will usually be right here. Like, it's usually the mag that you insert. However, that's going to be very different in a shotgun like this. So I'm going to put or current item dot value find first child. Hold on. Let's see. Gonna have to take that out, and then we'll do mag point if mag and mag find first child, you'll see what I mean in a moment, as soon as this loads. First child, let's see, spring base. And basically what this does is it checks for if there is a spring base or an integral part of this, because it will default to the mag point and either the mag point or the magazine. And if both don't have that, then can't really use the mag spring because there's nothing there to do it. So yeah, you get the point. Anyways, let's move into this. Okay, mag spring, mag spring, mag spring. Yeah, there we go. Hold on. Trying to find the, oh yeah, I know where it's at. Tween, mag, yeah, there we go. So now, what I have to do is just press enter, put this in, and basically what we will do with this is that we will, see, we got the spring size, of course, which we're going to add in later, once we find out the size of each bullet point, and basically we're going to have to use that. Clip size is going to be different. So let's see, clip size. Yeah, I think we can do that. Main data, get clip size. Alright, and then we're going to do another one, which will be this. Same thing. And div, I believe, is the rows. Yeah, has to be the rows. So that means we're going to do div right here, of course, because that's what you use to actually deal with this. It is the rows. Like basically it's the dividend of what you have. And yeah. And usually it is tweened by itself and using another alpha or whatever that is. Oh yeah, easing function. Yeah. Uses its own easing function, this very thing, so you don't need to supply that. But you would have to supply this because this is crucial to make sure this works. Now, before we get into the next part, I'm going to fix the problem with the spring size because there's no spring size right now. So that means I'm going to have to get, let's see, I'll probably use the UMP as a template. The UMP's spring mechanism or spring settings. And then we'll like change it from there. Probably will explain how this works though, just so you know. Factor is key as well. It's been a part of that since it started, the spring. And I even have a tweet of the P90 actually having a working spring from back in the day. So, yeah. Anyways, spring profile, we'll change this to M4 Super 90. And then, let's see the scale. Scale of these bullets should be 3.25. So, it's 362, 3.25, 325. And then the scale P should be, let's see. I'm going to have to do a calculation. So I'm going to find that. Actually, I can do that in the output window. So watch. Print 0.325 divided by 2. So it would be 1.5 or 1.6 rather. And divisor should be 2, or actually it should be 1. My bad. It should be 1. So, just so you know. it's always one shell. And the direction direction should be, I think, Z? Yeah, Z. Or is it X? I'll find out. Um, Scale P. Now, first, before we do anything, I have to check and see. Okay, spring leg is good for that because it has to be a part, like an actual part, and not like a union operation or a wedge part, none of that. The reason for this is because the spring leg increases in size and it also increases in what I like to call position. So basically the position changes of the piston, but the leg stays the same. It just increases in size and maybe a little bit of position if it needs to readjust itself, but that's it. So, yeah. Anyways, take out this 12 gauge stuff. And instead, we are going to use the... Hold on, let me just find out what kind of shells this thing uses. So, the 12 gauge shells that it does use, I can find out from just looking at it. I think there's a housing here, so I'm going to just look at that. Lifted shell as a reference, and we do have the buckshot, so I'm going to put that in. Number 00, hold on, let me just get this right. Buckshot, which is basically the standard shell for the 12 gauge. You have the, hold on, let me just find out if that's in there and what its name is. There is another shell. You have the 2 3/4 flechette, which is right here. And basically that is a arrow-like shell, or, you know, the shell has arrows in it. They're called flechettes. Now we also have the Brenica slug. But we do not use the smoke slug because the smoke slug, it's not a thing. Yeah, a friend of mine confirmed that. Yeah, there's no such thing as a smoke slug. So we get rid of that. And hold on, guys. I'm going to have to change something real quick. Okay, that was quick. So let's get back to work. So as you can see here, I don't see it. Oh yeah, there it is. Brenica slug. So Brenica slug, which is a German slug round, of course, is fitted in a burgundy-like shell. You'll see it. But yeah, you get the point. So we can delete the rubber. Actually, not rubber. We can delete the buckshot. We can delete the flechette. We can delete the Brenica. Now, Sabo will probably go in at the end if we have time. But other than that, I don't think so. But yeah, as you can see, those are the 3 shells you can use. And yes, it does change cartridge. So it works. Now, here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do, if we can get there, is we're going to also put on the storage. Once we do the storage, after that, we will get the rest of the joints working. Hopefully, if this works, I'm hoping it does. Because right now, I am baffled at why this is happening. It's stuck. Hold on. Yeah, it's still stuck. Hope I don't lose work from this. Yeah. Okay. Now we're talking. So now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in lighting because we know I'm going to probably need this. And the next thing I will do is I will get straight to the storage system, or basically the storage for the shells. And to do that, sorry about my voice, guys. It's not on par, but it'll be alright. Anyways, we have the shell storage, and basically this is what we will use. Like this part here is what we use to actually attach it. So, let's see, where is it? Gun assembler is right here. And I think it's, yeah, I'll just use this one. Okay, and then we'll do shell storage. And basically what this does is it allows you to store extra shells that you're not going to use at the moment, but will use later into the weapon, just like we said earlier. So let's see, I think this one will be handle for right now, because we don't need this for any revolvers or anything like that. This is only for a shotgun. So yeah, if it doesn't equal shell storage main, then we'll do shell storage attachment. And basically what this does is that this will allow the whole thing to work just like normal, but it's different because we're dealing with shell storage. So now what we do is we'll call this shell storage weld. And yeah. Alright. I think you can hear me. Accidentally hit the hub on this thing, which I shouldn't because it's kind of sensitive to touch. So just want to let you guys know that if you heard or didn't hear me for once. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in the hold on, let me just look at the weapon real quick. So if I go up, the weapon is right here. So now what I have to do is we will have to get these parts done. So let's do the bolt. Yeah. Alright. And we're going to take that and make that into this. Okay. And do else if v is the base part and v.name equals bolt firing pin. And then you can find that. So now all we have to do is this and call this bolt pin. Basically that will be the thing you use to actually move the bolt, or bolt firing pin rather, around so that it can work like it's supposed to in the shotgun. So now what we have to do is we have to take the bolt head, which is this thing right here, and we're going to weld that together and call this the bolt head slide. There's a difference, and we'll actually call this bolt pin slide so that we can recognize it. So now we're going to actually have to do the bolt spring. So let's go here, call this bolt spring end or start. Alright. And actually, I think the bolt spring start should be hidden. So actually, we're not going to need that. Just remembered. It uses transparency due to the fact that this one is made out of unions, what makes it really tricky to actually get it right. It would be better if it was a mesh, even though we have a no mesh rule, of course. And that can be really tricky. Like, seriously. To use unions or CSG with size and position is not the best thing unless you're dealing with something else. So, that we're going to omit. So now what we have to do is we have to, I think, work on the rest. So we have the release lever, of course. And now we've got to actually put this into an ignore list, which is in this script that I'm about to show you. This one right here. So if we go down there and find the bolt. Let's see, bolt. Okay. Part.name does not equal bolt head. And the same thing down here. Bolt firing pin. And done. Basically what this is that it will ignore these parts so that it's not a problem. And if you don't know what this is, this basically takes a bunch of conditions, puts them in a list, and returns a variable or boolean as a result of that list. If everything is true in this list, it will return true. But if one of those things is false, it will return false. Of course, it has to do that. Because if it doesn't, then how is this going to work? Parts wouldn't weld correctly if that was the case. If it didn't work the way it's supposed to. Now let's look at the weapon again, because there's some more things we have to do. Yes, the gate effector and gate hinge are one of those things. Or are a few of those things. So let's see. Gate should be down here. So I'm going to copy this. Alright. And then I'm going to put it right here. And then do gate hinge. Actually, make this one loading gate. That's basically what that's for, the loading gate. Make this gate hinge. And then we'll do gate attachment. And then this is going to be the gate hinge. And then make this gate effector. Basically that will allow it to stay in place while it moves. And we're going to call this one gate hinge. Of course, because it's a hinge. And that should do it for the gate. Let me just put this down here so it's cleaner and easier to read. Of course. And there you got it. You have the gate done. However, there's still a lot to go regarding hinges and working moving parts, such as the hammer. But first, before we do that, we are going to have to add another ignore list to this whole thing so that this will work. So I'm going to do local gate parts equals this, which is a table, and then we'll do gate. Hold on. I'll be right back, guys. Be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. So let's just get this done. So I'm going to do gate effector, or actually gate hinge, sorry. It's only parts that move, not the ones that don't, like the effector. The effectors can actually be welded to the hold part, or the main part of the gun, as in the primary part, not like the main barrel or whatever. But hinges and things that are attached to hinges are not, for a good reason. So let's see, I'm going to call this one loading gate, because that's welded to this. This is welded nowhere. The actually, that's welded to the effector. This is welded to the hinge. Anyways, let's just get straight into this. So to make this work, we'll do is gate part. So now what we do there is loading gate, and not in list p.name gate parts, or you can do loading gate right here. And basically, let me explain this. So this will make sure that there's a loading gate. If there is, make sure that it's not one of those parts if you want to weld it basically, meaning weld it like where it's attached straight to the hold part or the main part of the weapon and not anything else. But if it's not there, then this is the condition that it will return, so that it's false, because it's a boolean after all. Now I'm going to put this here is gate part v, or actually part, sorry, and I'm going to put a semicolon because this is actually a list or array, and done with the gate. Now let's look at this again. The hammer is already taken care of. The loading gate is taken care of. The release lever isn't taken care of. So let's do that. First thing I'm going to do is copy this again, put it all the way down here, learning from my mistakes, of course. And then we're going to do release lever hinge. I call it the release lever because you release something, which is usually this shell that you want to get rid of. And we're going to call this release lever. Actually call that release lever hinge. This is an effector right there. Release lever effector. Release lever hinge right there. And yeah, basically we just make sure that works. Alright, and after that we will do release lever effect. Actually, we'll put that there, and then we'll do release lever, which is needed to actually show that it's releasing something, and then we'll do release lever. Now usually I wouldn't actually make this part work because of the fact that the control for it isn't there yet, but this is going to be an exception. It might actually fill up the whole entire keypad. However, I have a special use for this, and you'll see it probably either next Wednesday or next Friday. There will not be a stream on Thursday of next week, just so you know. Okay, now we did that, and see, we got the trigger already. We have the shell storage, and let's see what's next. Okay, looks like everything is good for now. Now to test it, we have to actually get into the game. So, trying to think for a minute because the stream will usually have problems if I test it. So I am going to actually do that, and I'll be right back when I've done it. Alright, so I'm back, and I did test it. Sadly, it did not really work like it was supposed to because, I mean, it didn't fire, of course, and there were some shell issues. So let's get to those real quick. I'm going to find the magazine class, which is down here. Or actually, I think we already have it. Yeah, right there. And we're going to go all the way down here. Now, there's a reason why. So, shot capacity is basically what we need. Yes, I'm serious. There's a reason why. Now, you might think I am not serious because, you know, why do that when it's mag based? Well, sometimes you have to deviate because you can have more than 2 shells in one gun. Like, for example, the M1014 right here. Hold on. Yeah, right here. Actually is supposed to have this amount of shells. Now, let me show you what I mean by that. Instead of shot amount, we'll call this shot capacity. And this will be 7 because we can fire 7 shells from the whole mag. Alright. Now, I am going to test this, so I'll be right back when I do so. Alright, so I'm back, and still didn't work. So let's see what we did wrong. Well, if you look in the magazine, yeah, as you can see here, this doesn't really work. I mean, we do have ammo as 0, of course, and we have to use the individual ammo. But, yeah, there is an issue here, and believe, hold on, let me find out which one this is. Yeah, that's weird. 12 gauge SL. Get rid of that, because we do not need that anymore. We can get rid of this. Do not need this anymore. And yeah. Hold on, let me just check this. Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, the shot capacity. And yep, just what I thought. We were missing an A. Now it should work, so I'll be right back when I have tested it. Alright, so I'm back again. Yes, I have to do this every time I test. And it did work in terms of capacity, but the animation did not play the full shot capacity that it was supposed to do. So, with that being said, I think, hold on, let me find out about this. If we look at the Remington 1894, so we look at that weapon right there. Not that, this. And as you can see, if we go down, this is what we should have used. Because let's be honest, the weapon doesn't need to use the reload thing anymore unless you're dealing with certain rounds, you know, like actual cartridges, like rifle cartridges. It doesn't need to deal with anything else. So, yeah, we could do this differently. So now I'm going to take this out, of course, and I'm going to make this 2, and then put this right here. Same thing for this one. Take that out. It usually works that way, but now it's only for like rifles because of the change. And yeah, that's it. So now what we have to do is take this, make that 2, and done. Should be. Anyways, also another thing we'll have to do before we test is to make sure that the let's see, I think it's this one. I'll just do all of them. Okay, works. This should be anchored. All of it should be anchored. So this, okay, that's anchored. This should not be canceled. And same thing with this. Yep, that's anchored. It's going to be anchored. And the full cartridges are the other part of this that I haven't showed you yet. We'll delete the smoke slug because we don't need it. Yeah. Okay, that's good. This is not. Alright, and let's see, what else? We can get rid of this, so we don't need it. And let's see, Bernica slug, same thing. Got that right. This should be like that. And done, I think. Except for this part. We'll just do that. Alright. And now that we've done that, that should fix that problem that we were having earlier, or that we were having while I was on a little bit of a break. I mean, I don't know what to call it, but while I was testing, there were like some anchoring issues or whatnot. So we fixed it with that. Now let's test it. So I'll be right back once I've done that. Alright, so I'm back. Yeah, didn't work again. Same thing keeps happening. But if we were to go to ammo diff right here, and I think, hold on, I think I have an idea. Main data, get ammo in. Actually, this is supposed to be gauge. Gauge type, of course, because we're dealing with individual ammo. And main data, get, well, let me just, yeah, that. And then we'll do get and do ammo in, or we'll do that, which is the ammo. So now, as you can see, it's a lot better in terms of what we would do. So, in that case, let's just try it out and see where that goes. So I'm going to have to be right back once I test. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It didn't work. So there is an issue here, and I believe I know what it is. Yeah. We can look here. This is individual ammo. Alright. Individual ammo. It's a huge problem if this doesn't get set up right. So, just saying. It's just unacceptable, to be honest. So now, to fix that problem, I will probably have to, let's see. Yeah, you know what? I have an idea. Item, find first child. Well, I'll wait for it to autosave. And I'm going to do find first child. Actually, we can do this. Find first child. And then we'll do rounds, get children, and basically, well, actually we have to add this first. So as you can see, there is a rounds folder in the shotgun. I'm going to show you that very clearly. If we can go all the way down, you can see that, right? Well, this is where the rounds are stored in terms of, instancing. But the rounds are actually stored in a certain place on the weapon. A magazine tube, or internal magazine, or mag point, of course. So now what we have to do is, well, I wouldn't say test it just yet, because honestly, we don't want that to happen again. I want to come back with something done. So, yeah. Anyways, I think we did it. So let's test it. Be right back, and this time it hopefully should work. Yeah, it still didn't work. I mean, it's alright, but we, as you can see here, I did have to make some changes. So, equip doesn't use anything because it's just equipping the weapon, of course, or equipping the shells or whatnot, so you can use it for the first time. And then this is different. This does it when it's empty, and then this will like reload it. So, yeah. Anyways, let's just press play, and I'll be right back once it's done testing. So, yeah. So I'm back. Yeah, it didn't work. I just don't know why. It just doesn't want to work today. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I've already decided to just reinstate this code and then actually detach the mag because that's what the other gun did, and that's why it works because of the fact that it well yeah, basically it does work. The other weapon, which is the 1894, and I believe that is due to the fact that this one, if you look here, detaches the mag, as you can see, and it does everything. So, yeah, I mean, that's how it should have been in the first place, but you get the point. Anyways, let's test it, and I'll be right back once I'm done. Alright, so, yeah, it didn't really work. So we're going to just move on. I mean, sheesh. We'll make it work once we get there. Anyways, let's go here. We have the shot capacity, which is 7. Um, we also have to deal with the, let's see. I believe that we also have to deal with the, trying to think of what it was. Not the spread amount. I think, hold on, let me just get rid of that. Okay, and I'll just make this 2-7. Oh yeah, fire and sequence. That's what we had to deal with. So to fix that, we're going up. And I'm going to do this for now. We're almost at the end. So, yeah. Fire sequence, bolt, bolt, and that should make it work. Now I am going to test it again to make sure that the bolt works. But that's it. Nothing else. So, I'll be right back when I do that. Alright, so, yeah. It's, the gun does work in terms of the firing mechanism, but there is one problem. The bolt moves out of place. So to fix that, we're going to go down here. Hopefully we can find it. We're going to take this out. Yep, that. And we're going to move it to, I think, the Z part, this portion. Now to also fix this, we're going to need to make sure, hold on, let me find it, that the animation is the same in terms of consistency. And yes, we almost have 15 minutes, so I am going to end this as soon as I get the chance. Yeah, take that, move that out. Okay, good. Got that. And got that. So now, we did that. It should fire a lot better. And, yeah. So now, let's see. There's a lot more parts to go. Not gonna lie. And I think this would be better off if I animated it off screen, because right now, it's almost, sheesh, it's almost 2 hours. And I think that we've gotten some pretty good progress here. It's still not enough, but it's considerable. And yeah. So next Monday there will be a new stream. And this stream will be for a new game I'm working on, as well as this one. Well, it's not going to be for both, but this is like, I'm going to be working on both games at the same time, and they're going to be on Roblox. The new game is going to be based off of Dungeons and Dragons, but with a major difference. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about. My name is Erados12. For this, I will see you next Wednesday. And for the stream in general, I will see you next Monday. Cheers. Hold on. Let me just